How's it going, guys? This is Criptobud here for today. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I kind of go about my research in looking for coins that actually have use cases. And, last year, we had a phenomenal run. I mean, let's just be honest. Basically, projects ran too hard. And this year, we definitely have what I call a coin picker's market. Last year, it was pretty easy, I think, in terms of picking coins that ran. And obviously certain coins ran a lot more than others, but this year it's going to be a lot more difficult to pick. And when I say that, I mean, what I'm saying is you can't just kind of throw darts at the board and expect coins to run. And so the first fundamental question I want to ask everybody is, specifically, is how do you value coins that don't have earnings and don't have revenues, unlike your traditional markets? And so today, I'm going to focus our attention on talking about that. And yes, the market right now, it's green for the first time in a while, and we definitely are doing good. But right now, it's the time to really look at long-term, 5 years out, at least, which projects are going to be here and what projects are not going to be here. I mean, that's what it comes down to specifically. And it's an interesting topic because today we have Ripple. And Ripple is up 17.89%, which is great because we haven't had one of the top fives move up that much in a while, aside from that last rally that we had with Ethereum a couple of days ago. And again, people are kind of trading this and now. I'd rather not trade. I'd rather just accumulate coins right now at this point because I learned that there's no way right now to really predict these type of moves in this type of market because we are technically in a trading zone. So the first thing is when I look at these coins, I always ask myself the first fundamental question is, number one is, what is the actual use case? And so I think if you take a look at your top five, I think it's quite easy. We take a look at your top five, Bitcoin definitely takes the cake. And I've been calling that for a long time here, specifically about accumulating Bitcoin. And yes, it's been at different price points, but it doesn't really matter at this point because in the long run, Bitcoin should be higher than where it's at right now, which is only $6,000. I completely disagree with people who say, I think Bitcoin has to go to 2 or 3 or whatever, just because of the technical analysis or whatnot. And although technical analysis does play a large role in the entry and the exit points, it doesn't really answer the fact of the utility and the fundamental reasons for why Bitcoin is the way it is. And so as I'm going out through my day, I rather enjoy the in this specific market, not to say if it changes, the kind of accumulate and just kind of put it behind and forget about it. Right, not even look at the price day to day. I mean, look at it from a much more longer perspective. And so Bitcoin definitely takes the cake. Now, the other one that was kind of showing up today is going to be Ripple. And Ripple is a very interesting coin because, as you guys already know, I've been a long time ago covering Ripple. I really liked Ripple's value proposition because Ripple is one of those coins that, yes, it was a victim to hype. It was a victim to what I call massive exposure. But now we came back down to a very, very low price point, which is about 32 cents right now. And I'll be using USD values from this point forward because I think until Bitcoin regains its strength, I think the name of the game here is to accumulate more fiat. And so what's happening with Ripple was that, we had this massive run at $3 and a lot of people bought Ripple thinking that Ripple was going to be the coin, but in reality, there's actually the Ripple company and then there's the Ripple XRP tokens. And so Ripple went ahead and did a rebrand. And I don't know if you guys remember, it looked like a spinner. It was like a blue spinner. And then now it just completely did that. It had a lot of people coming out. And I think it was really interesting to see that Ripple definitely is moving today because I do feel that this is one of the coins that will have a use case at some point. Now, I know a lot of people hate Ripple. And the reason why they hate Ripple is because it stands for everything against what Bitcoin is. But put that argument aside, let's talk about the facts. Okay, so the facts are for Ripple is that if you take a look at the actual use case for Ripple, and this is a really nice site, by the way, I think it's kind of awesome that they actually had that, is that they actually are going to be, the big news is that they're using XRapid. And so XRapid is going to be their cross-border payment solutions. And what they're trying to do here is remove a lot of the friction that gets put forth between the banks. And specifically, they will be basically announced that Bittrex will act as the preferred digital asset exchange for XRapid. So this is really cool. And they're going to be able to move US dollars. In addition, Bitso and CoinsPH will be preferred for Mexican pesos and the Philippine pesos. This is actually what it will look like at the institutional level. We kind of talk a lot about peer-to-peer, right? Person to person, but at the institutional level, these cryptocurrencies definitely have a huge advantage over traditional fiat systems. And so what XRapid's going to really do is that it's going to be able to initiate US payments via XRapid and then convert it into XRP on Bittrex. And then you'll be settling it over the XRP ledger. So again, there was this whole discussion last year about Ripple being, a useless token. Okay, so yes, XRP is not the actual settlement coin. It's going to be XRapid. XRapid is the de facto, but in order to convert that, you can still convert it into XRP and be able to move the money around. So there is definitely going to be a demand for XRP as XRapid begins to really take hold. And so it's really interesting that they chose Bittrex because, in the past, people have criticized Ripple for using their own, closed systems. But now you're going to open the floodgates for an entry into XRapid. And so this is going to allow companies or maybe small institutions to kind of use this, and even large institutions at some point, banking systems, to begin to trade in and out of the XRapid token. Now, basically what's going to happen here is that I think that, we've had all of last year where these companies have attempted to use Ripple, and I think this is actually a really cool one. Also want to mention that on the actual volume for Ripple, it's about 5.71 billion USD. So again, put the use case argument there. Does Ripple have an actual use case? And the answer I can think of is absolutely. Now, is it the use case that I'm going to be using to buy a cup of coffee? And the answer is no. So yes, there is going to be a demand, and I think that's going to be the reasons why I think Ripple is going to be one of those few use case coins. And again, taking a look at the exactly the idea for Ripple, I think it's kind of interesting that there is going to be quite a bit of development and still developing happening right here regarding this idea of decentralization. So anyway, going back to this idea of, people who say, Ripple is the anti-Bitcoin and it doesn't stand for anything. It's a pre-mine coin, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be seeing this argument going forward in a bit, because in order to sustain these projects, you will have to create a business model with it. And yes, I am a Ripple fan. Yes, I am going to be looking at Ripple carefully as far as its use case. But, when I look at this chart, it reminds me a lot of what happened back here in April of 2017, where we had that massive run, and then all of a sudden we had this grind out period, and then the final move again. I do expect this to actually continue. And no, these coins are not going to go to zero. There's going to be coins that will go get delisted, and they will go the way of the dodo bird. But there's a lot of coins right now, like Ripple here, that are definitely have use cases. And I would argue here at the same token is that if you were here back in March of 30, the same arguments being made for Ripple back in March are being made right now. The fact that it is centralized, the fact that we've got a kind of a sketchy, founder, the fact that they are dealing with just the banks, which are supposed to be the people that we're not going to be dealing with. But the reality, guys, is that, Ripple has a use case. They are using it. They've got the wallet set up. They've got the gateway set up. You can't really argue against that, unlike some of these other projects that don't have use cases. And so when people, go ahead and start bashing it for whatever reason, I think it's very, very short-sighted. Yes, we did have a massive hype cycle. Yes, it came back down. Yes, it's now back. But this actually happened back in, I would say, if I were to take a look at this chart again, back in May 15, 2017, and it lasted all the way to December. So that price just completely flatlined, and all of a sudden when that price moved, everybody was talking about how Ripple was going to be the next best thing. And now all of a sudden we're back in the same token here, and now we still get the same situation where people are feeling the exact same way of saying Ripple is a bunch of crap or whatever. So anyway, I'm expecting another massive move like this, perhaps maybe even higher than this, if this X-Rapid technology takes hold. And I'm always on the side of looking at it from a business perspective than from looking at it from a, oh yeah, I think this is going to be the game changer. I want to know how they're going to get to that. So projects that don't show that, projects that don't show how they're going to get to that point where they're going to revolutionize an entire industry, I'm not going to be looking at anymore. Projects that have long staying power, they have competitive advantages, projects that actually have working partnerships and working products are going to be at the top of my list. All right, guys, CryptoBud out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video.